You want to see two super strong red guys smash into each other until only one's left standing? Well, then this is the fight for you. It's the Juggernaut versus Knuckles. And today, we're going to take a look at their powers and abilities, their strength and their speed, everything. All to see who's going to be the last one standing. Let's get into it. Now, for this video, we're going to be talking about Archie Knuckles. So Knuckles from the super overpowered Archie comics. And for Juggernaut, we're really talking about one of the most inconsistent guys in all of Marvel here. Someone who one day can be beating up Thor and the Hulk, the next day is getting clowned on by someone like Venom. But one, well, that was 90s Venom, when Venom was also able to beat up Superman, so just a different animal. Secondly, that's actually pretty consistent for the character of Juggernaut, because he's empowered by an eldritch being, Sidorak, which we'll get more into that later. And Sidorak basically decides each moment how much power to give Juggernaut. For this video, well, let's just assume that Juggernaut has the full backing and full force of Sidorak behind him. Make things interesting. And I think the first thing that we need to take a look at will be Juggernaut and Knuckles' physicality. And buckle the frick up, because we got some serious scaling and feats to talk about here. Now, to make a very long and very complicated story short, Knuckles the Echidna is the guardian of the mythical Master Emerald and protector of the floating island. He comes from a long line of guardians, but Knuckles is different. Before he was even born, his dad saw a prophecy in a dream and knew he needed to prepare his baby with the power to stand up to anything. So he straight microwaved his kid, blasted his egg with chaos radiation, which is how Knuckles got his Knuckles, and his ability to manipulate chaos energy. And while Knuckles really has nowhere near the raw strength feats to compare with Juggernaut, you're kind of topping out with lifting a power plant under the water, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have the power to do a whole lot more. And I am going to differentiate power and strength here. Knuckles is repeatedly said to have the power of a Chaos Emerald, being called a living Chaos Emerald, and just a single one of those emeralds is powerful enough to create zones, which are either pocket dimensions or entire universes. And also, they have the power to destroy and collapse those dimensions. And Knuckles is said to be just as powerful as all of that, and even has the ability to shatter a Chaos Emerald with just one strike. And that's in his base form, universal in power at the very least. And then there's Hyper Knuckles, which is his version of Supersonic, where Knuckles is 1,000 times stronger than usual. And Hyper Knuckles should actually clearly scale to Supersonic. Knuckles has consistently been able to match Sonic in this form. They definitely scale to each other, and that's relevant because of the Super Genesis Wave. The Genesis Wave has the ability to rearrange the space and time of a dimension, allowing the user to create a new timeline, reshape the physical universe, rewrite memories, and alter the structure of universes in adjacent dimensions. The Super Genesis Wave is a super amped form of this, able to eliminate everything. So Sonic's infinite multiverse, Mega Man's multiverse too, as well as higher dimensional realms like the Chaos Force and pocket dimensions like the Special Zone. Supersonic was going to revert the effects of the Super Genesis Wave until Eggman got in his way, and Hyper Knuckles scales to all of this. However, even though this puts Knuckles at like complex multiversal, it still doesn't put him outside the reach of the Juggernaut.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Cain Marko was the stepbrother of Charles Xavier, the founder of the X-Men, and grew up jealous over his brother's telepathy, forming a lasting resentment between the two. During his service in the army during the Korean War, Cain would stumble across a cave at a temple dedicated to the powerful mystic being known as Sidorak. Touching the crimson gem at the heart of the temple, Cain was transformed into Sidorak's avatar on Earth, an unstoppable human juggernaut. For years, he would face off against the X-Men, the Hulk, Spider-Man, Thor, Doctor Strange, and many other superheroes. But one constant remained for the Juggernaut. No matter the obstacle, he will never stop. He's got a few universal feats to his name. It's said that the power within Juggernaut is enough to command the universe. He's able to shatter a dimension inside the Crimson Gem. But a lot of Juggernaut's most impressive stuff comes from scaling him off the likes of Hulk, Thor, and Marvel's other heavy hitters. Like Juggernaut has matched up against Thor plenty of different times, actually been able to overpower Thor several times too. And Thor is like easily one of the most powerful heroes that you've ever seen. He's able to fight against Zeus for a month straight. He's fought his dad Odin, wrestled the very embodiment of the Odin Force. He's battled Mephisto several times within Mephisto's own realm, with all three of these guys having like legitimately multiverse power showings. Thor can fight on par with them, and Juggernaut's been able to beat up on Thor. Or you can talk about all the times where Thor has messed around with the world tree Yggdrasil. Like when he was just a baby, he managed to shake every branch in the tree, and every realm in the branches, with just his cries. He's shattered Yggdrasil's roots before. He's managed to shake the tree from root to branch. He's even directly overpowered the tree. And in case you don't know, Yggdrasil is this hyper construct that supports all the 10 realms, which are actually confirmed to be distinct and separate space-time universes. And that's just the tip of the infinite iceberg that is the World Tree. And even further, well, Yggdrasil is said to be everything, have its roots and branches in all that is, and can contain infinite different universes and exist across infinite planes of reality. So that's crazy. And again, Juggernaut has overpowered and beat up on Thor. He's also done this same thing with the Hulk. In fact, Juggernaut is able to match up against World War Hulk, the same Hulk who can match up against the Sentry, a guy so powerful that he's fought against Galactus, and the House of M couldn't even compare to his own power. Hulk's battled against Sentry, and Juggernaut battled against the Hulk. Heck, even outside of his World War Hulk phase, well, Hulk has been able to destroy Nightcrawler's dimension, match up against Celestials in a few different ways, even fight on par with Zeus. And while it might look like Hulk was getting stomped by the Skyfather in that fight, they really shouldn't scale to each other at all. Hulk was actually able to fight roughly on par until Zeus started absorbing away Hulk's strength as they were fighting, and Hulk couldn't grow fast enough in power to compensate for that. Before that happened, well, Hulk was giving Zeus a good fight. Either way, Juggernaut and Hulk should definitely scale to each other. It was even said until pretty recently that Marvel believed Juggernaut was stronger out of the two because of the power of Sidorak. And that's just the thing. Juggernaut's power is entirely dependent on his connection to Sidorak, but at his peak, well, he's had all of Sidorak's power, and it was enough to actually kill Sidorak. And Sidorak is straight up just an eldritch monster, said to be possibly the strongest magic user in the entire Marvel multiverse, and a being with the power to end the multiverse or create a new one altogether. He can imprison Galactus. The Phoenix Force is basically nothing to him. In different author statements have Sidorak above even people like Zom, who was a threat to the living tribunal, and it took Odin, Dormammu, and Eternity to stop him. And Juggernaut can scale to all of this because he can access the entire power of Sidorak at his best. It's just absolutely crazy. And there's really no debate. Juggernaut at his best just scales exponentially higher than Knuckles at his best and is stronger here. No question about it. You can't even really argue that Knuckles is all that faster than Juggernaut, which is kind of surprising considering that we're talking about a Sonic character. Now Knuckles is pretty easy. He's got incalculable speed. You don't even really have to use scaling or anything to get there. It says it right on the page. Knuckles has incalculable, immeasurable speed. But hang with me here, because you can scale Juggernaut way up there with speed too by comparing him to someone like Thor. And Thor is fast enough to transcend the boundaries of space-time, and even just physically traveling to Asgard puts him beyond all space-time. Now, I think that's a bit of a stretch. Juggernaut is never really portrayed as a fast character, but I'm just saying you can get there. And if he's got the full power of Sidorak behind him, then it's a possibility. I don't think it really matters either way though, because even if Knuckles is faster, Juggernaut just so massively outscales even Hyper Knuckles in power that it makes no difference. There's also just the fact that Knuckles straight up cannot injure Juggernaut. He just can't. Because for one, Jugs truly is just that tough. He's been completely uninjured by attacks from Hulk. He's taken a full-on God Blast from Thor, not even phased. The same attack that had Galactus running scared. He's taken a full-on blast from Darkseid's Omega Beams. They just simply bounced off of him. And Onslaught, one of the most powerful villains in Marvel, said that Juggernaut is full-on unkillable. And even when Juggernaut is injured, well, he just keeps on going, even being reduced to a skeleton of pure hate and remains standing, fully regenerating in just a few seconds. But secondly, well, all of Knuckles' power comes from the Chaos Energy, otherwise known as Chaos Magic. And if you thought Juggernaut was tough before, well, he's even tougher against magic, to the point where Doctor Strange isn't even able to touch Juggernaut or affect him with his magic. He's even been able to survive against Eternity trying to destroy him. The cosmic abstract Eternity couldn't put Juggernaut down. So Knuckles genuinely just can't do anything. Even the power that comes from chaos magic to control and warp reality, well, Juggernaut has resisted that sort of stuff before and just kept on going. Now, there is an argument that you can say the same about Knuckles, considering that he's able to heal from basically any attack as long as he's got the chaos energy and the willpower to do it. You can also say that Knuckles has more versatility than Jugs with the chaos energy. Not just the ability to warp reality, but send Juggernaut to other dimensions or something like that. But of course, Juggernaut has come back from that sort of stuff in the past. Problem is, Juggernaut still just massively outscales Knuckles in terms of raw power. Jugs can take everything that Knuckles can throw at him, from a combination of his raw durability, his resistance to magic, and his insane force field, well, nothing is touching Juggernaut. Basically, Jugs is just too powerful. With his direct and full connection to Sidorak, Marco is truly in a class above Knuckles here. Even Archie Knuckles. He's coming out on top. Juggernaut wins.